He ruled a nation for more than 4 decades, without ever calling himself a president. To some, Muammar Gaddafi was a fearless revolutionary who stood up to Western powers and gave Libya free education, healthcare, and national pride. To others, he was a ruthless dictator whose obsession with power led his country into chaos. So who was Muammar Gaddafi, really? A hero or a tyrant? And how did a man who seemed untouchable fall so violently from power? Muammar Muhammad Abu Minyar al-Gaddafi was born in 1942 in the Libyan desert near Sirte to a poor Bedouin family. Growing up, Gaddafi witnessed Libya under foreign influence, first Italian colonial rule, then a monarchy closely tied to Western interests. These early experiences shaped his deep hatred of imperialism and foreign control. Inspired by Arab nationalist leaders like Gamal Abdel Nasser of Egypt, Gaddafi joined the military, believing it was the fastest path to change. In 1969, at just 27 years old, Gaddafi led a bloodless military coup, overthrowing King Idris I while the king was abroad. Almost overnight, Libya was transformed. Gaddafi promised a new Libya, free from corruption, foreign domination, and inequality. One of his first moves was to nationalize Libya's oil industry, redirecting profits back to the state. The result was dramatic. Libya became one of the wealthiest countries in Africa. Education and healthcare were free. Illiteracy dropped. Infrastructure expanded across the desert nation. But Gaddafi rejected traditional government. Instead, he introduced a new political philosophy outlined in his book, The Green Book. He called his system the Jamahiriya, meaning state of the masses, claiming that power belonged directly to the people through local committees. In reality, these committees answered to Gaddafi. Although Gaddafi claimed he held no official position, nothing happened in Libya without his approval. Political parties were banned. Critics were imprisoned, exiled, or executed. Public dissent was met with fear. Libyans enjoyed economic benefits, but at the cost of political freedom. At the same time, Gaddafi expanded his ambitions beyond Libya. He funded revolutionary movements across Africa, the Middle East, and Europe, believing he was fighting global oppression. But these actions brought consequences. By the 1980s, Gaddafi was considered one of the world's most dangerous men by Western governments. Libya was accused of supporting terrorism, most notably the 1988 bombing of Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland, which killed 270 people. The United States and its allies imposed harsh economic sanctions on Libya. In 1986, U.S. airstrikes hit Tripoli, targeting Gaddafi himself. Libya became isolated, but Gaddafi survived and adapted. In the early 2000s, Gaddafi shocked the world. He accepted responsibility for Lockerbie, paid compensation to victims' families, and abandoned Libya's weapons of mass destruction programs. Suddenly, the man once labeled a global villain was welcomed back onto the world stage. Western leaders shook his hand. Sanctions were lifted. Libya re-entered international politics. But inside Libya, resentment was growing. Unemployment, corruption, and repression remained, especially among the youth. And in 2011, everything changed. Inspired by uprisings across the Arab world, protests erupted in Libya in February 2011. What began as demonstrations quickly turned into armed rebellion. Gaddafi responded with force, vowing to crush the opposition. As violence escalated, NATO intervened, launching airstrikes against Libyan government forces. The war tore the country apart. City by city, Gaddafi's control collapsed. In October 2011, Gaddafi was captured near his hometown of Sirte while attempting to flee. Hours later, he was dead. The man who ruled Libya for 42 years was gone. The images of his final moments spread across the world, marking one of the most dramatic ends to a modern ruler. Muammar Gaddafi left behind a deeply divided legacy. He transformed Libya from a poor kingdom into a wealthy state, but ruled through fear and absolute control. He challenged global powers, but silenced his own people. After his fall, Libya did not find peace. Instead, it descended into instability and ongoing conflict. So the question remains, was Muammar Gaddafi a revolutionary who lost his way, or a dictator whose fall was inevitable? And most importantly,